Welcome to another episode of the Hustle and Grind podcast.
I am Monique. They call me Mo Hustle.
They call me the Grind Guy.
I be up early in the morning.
You wake up like, God,
Why? Gotta do to get this money,
We are the non-traditional couple.
You okay?
The Hustle and the Grind.
the Hustle and Grind podcast.
Welcome to the Hustle and the Grind podcast, y'all.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here.
So first, this is what I love this whole thing because I had the Cycle Gang experience myself, right? And let me tell you, they don't play no games. It look fun till you get in there. Khalil like, keep going, let's go, John. I'm like, hey man, this workout number 3. I'm good. Come on. So it's a lot of motivation and inspiration within working out, and I like that because you know, it's a different type of workout. It's not the ordinary just let me get on a treadmill. Or let me just ride a bike. No, it's Cycle Gang. So you cycling, you got the music. You know, y'all got it pumping in there, man. So
It's a party on the bike.
It is a party on the bike.
That's what I tell everybody. It's a party on the bike. And that's what, so John, if you come more often, because that's the thing. The first spin class that I went to, it wasn't easy. My butt was hurting because the seat was uncomfortable. And I was just like, but I know this will be good cardio. Right. So I just had to kind of figure it out, but I kept coming. So if you keep coming, you got to come more than once.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
I will
you'll
definitely.
get acclimated.
I'll
You'll get
Khalil
very
for
well
this
acclimated.
membership.
But it's a party on the bike. So but we're going to do a little introduction here. So we're going to start with you, Mr. Khalil. Okay? So I know you're from Michigan, right? Lansing, Michigan.
That's right.
I'm going to tell y'all a little fun fact. So I started, I went to one of your classes. I used to spin at LA Fitness. And you probably didn't even, I don't know if I met you at LA Fitness, but there were certain instructors' classes that I went to at LA Fitness because some people were like kind of like mellow and you just don't get the same vibe and level of intensity as others. So it was certain instructors' classes that I went to. But I went to yours, but when you opened Cycle Gang, I followed over to Cycle Gang. But I think I did introduce myself to you at LA Fitness because you were from Michigan. Mm-hmm. And we connected because you're from Lansing and I went to Michigan State. And we're gonna go back. So go white. Oh, I got on green too. And look, that wasn't even planned. So there we go. But listen, so the cool part is, we came to find out that we knew like some mutual people. And Michigan State, when I was there, it was a lot going on. We had a ball. It was a lot of parties. But Khalil, so you're from Lansing, Michigan.
That's right.
And I know you told me that you used to promote parties.
That's right.
When I was actually in college. So I know that I went to some of your parties, and now I'm a member of Cycle Gang.
Full circle.
Yeah. So you had to hustle and grind and you all the way back then. So let's go back to the Michigan days. Let's go back to Lansing.
Wow, Lansing, Michigan.
Yeah, talk about it.
Lansing, Michigan.
Tell everybody where you're from.
Well, from Lansing, Michigan.
Okay.
That's the womb, I'll call it. That's the womb. That's where everything started. You know, from just a small little town in Michigan. But it's like it's a town where people pass through because you have the university there. You have Michigan State University, so you meet people from Flint, you meet people from Detroit.
And a lot of other cities.
And a lot of other cities, absolutely. So a lot of history there because the automotive industry was in Michigan and Detroit
right.
and Flint and surrounding cities. But it's an interesting town, especially for Black people. And if you ever read the autobiography of Malcolm X, what he said about Lansing is kind of still true to this day. You know what I'm saying?
What did he say?
Well, it's just a struggle for Black people. There's still that element that Black people have to deal with, which is white supremacy. You know what I mean? So, but I learned early on that I had a little niche for business. I was a paper boy for the Lansing State Journal, got up at 5 a.m. throwing newspapers on people's doors and stuff like that. I was the kid that sold annihilators, in middle school. I buy them for a dime and they're like, they're 25 cents. Yeah, what you gonna do? You want an annihilator or not?
Right.
You can't go to the store. So I was that kid that sold Jolly Ranchers, annihilators. And also, was involved in sports. So Pee Wee Pop Warner football and basketball. So that's where my athletic, physical fitness side came from.
You.
And I was a starter, you know, and pride myself as being a starter. So I always dreamed about going into D1 college and playing professional football and things like that. So I worked hard in that area. So entrepreneurship was always on my mind. Leadership was always on my mind. Staying physically fit was always on my mind. And there was an opportunity that I found in Lansing, because Lansing doesn't have clubs and entertainment. And so I said, well, shoot, man, let's start promoting some parties. So back in that day, we would find a hall in an apartment complex that might have a clubhouse. And clubhouses back in that day was a little more liberal.
Yeah.
You could go in and find somebody to live there and, you know, have them pay the rent. And shoot, we turn that
It's
thing
funny
out.
you say that, because like in Flint, we used to have parties when we were in high school at VFW halls.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
we had like people that were promoters when we were in high school that rented out the VFW halls, and literally every weekend almost we had a party to go to.
Every weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend.
So that was our club. Yeah.
So you could do stuff like that. You could be very creative. Someone maybe have a storefront that they haven't rented out yet. You can find out the owner and say, hey, can I use it for the weekend? You know, cut him a little fee, whatever. Printing out flyers, you know, being out late, 3 a.m., putting flyers on everybody's car. And, you know, it was a lot of hustle, being at the radio station, making radio ads. And so, you know, that was something that created a lot of momentum. It was some pride in that. You know, you got some notoriety. I can't say that.
Notoriety.
Notoriety.
There,
Can you say
I
that?
got you notoriety.
You
I
got
got it.
You got it.
That you got that.
It permitted you in certain circles.
Relationships.
Yeah, no, relationships, networking. So I enjoyed that. And one thing I noticed about entrepreneurship and promoting is, even though I was up late, and sometimes I would get up at 2, 3 in the morning to pass out flyers, because if you didn't pass out your flyer, that was the difference between you having a successful party and not.
Right.
And I didn't depend on anybody to pass out my flyer. I wanted to get out there and meet the people and connect with the people and roll up my sleeves. So, but I just loved that. It wasn't work for me. It was it was a labor of love, so to speak. And so I enjoyed that. I didn't even realize I was up at 3 a.m. I didn't care how many thousands of cars at the President's Center or at whatever club that was popping that night that I placed flyers on. It was just, I was doing something for self. And so I got to stop here and say something. Excuse me if I'm talking too much.
No, you're fine.
But the person that had instilled that in me, though, was my he's no longer with us, was my late brother, and we called him Cody C, or Biko. He was just a hustler, and I watched him, and I wanted to be like him, and the way he moved and the way he kind of did his thing was so smooth, and he always told me, ever since a young age, he would always ask me after he'd be out in the streets hustling, whatever, how much money you got in your pocket? And I'm like, I ain't got no money in my pocket. He's like, man, you should always have some money in your pocket. Always have some money in your pocket. Don't spend all your money. You know, so he would just plant little seeds like that, that just germinated over the years and just made me value ownership and value, you know, creating business and being innovative and becoming an entrepreneur. So
That's what's up.
Dope,
That's awesome.
dope.
So let's fast forward, because you also have you have a nonprofit, right?
Right.
yes,
Got Street Cred. That's your shirt that you got on.
that's right.
So let's talk about your nonprofit.
Yeah, so while in Lansing, in addition to promoting, and I opened up a club in my brother's name. He passed away while I was in Lansing, and we opened up a club called Club Bicos. And a lot of the, it's funny, a lot of the early 2000 folks that came in that era that was in high school around that time talk about Club Bicos.
Okay.
Puts a smile on my face. But in addition
I don't
to,
know if I went there.
in addition to that, yeah, you might have been a little bit too old for that.
Okay.
That was just right, just right
Okay.
when you was going into college. But in addition to that, I had a kiosk in the mall called Heavenly Scents, and we sold oils and incense and lotions.
So you always been entrepreneur, something.
It's something.
Selling something.
It's something. And I was like 19, 20 at this stage.
Nice.
So, what was the question? I forgot.
No,
the
you
question.
were telling us You wanted to
About the
elaborate
nonprofit.
about your brother? Oh,
Yeah.
no, we're talking about the
Nonprofit.
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 Yeah,
Okay,
nonprofit.
so yeah, the reason I talked about that is everyone used to come up to me and be really impressed about, I guess I was looked a little young or whatever. Like, man, you're a business owner and you're young and all that. But I remember a conversation that I had about just young people learning financial literacy in school and learning about credit, learning about saving, learning about investing. And I realized when I had that conversation, I learned about none of that in school. None of that. I learned nothing about money, learned nothing about financial literacy,
Right.
saving, investing. All this that I was doing, promoting, selling candy, just getting money, that's the only thing I know how to do is get money.
Make money.
But in terms of investing and saving and being able to leverage credit and leverage other things, I knew nothing about that. So I had those kind of conversations, and I had that seed planted about, man, what if there was a curriculum or some kind of teaching?
So, but who planted those seeds in you?
Well, those type of conversations I would have at the kiosk. People would come up to me asking me about
Got
business
you.
and asking me, trying to pick my brain.
Got you.
And then also depositing in me, different concepts and strategies about business that I didn't learn in school.
Okay.
So I learned, man, that 4 years I went through high school, damn, what did I learn?
Right. That's how we all look back
You know
at
what
high
I'm
school,
saying?
homie.
So-
I mean, I know I do. I look back at high school like, what was I doing? Like,
Yeah,
Meeting friends.
yeah.
yeah, just having an experience.
Yeah, having a real experience.
That
My
is
daughter
what
was
it
born
is.
5 days after I graduated high school. So, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
But anyway, that's not about me.
That's an
It
experience.
is an experience. But we
I learned a
we
lot
talk
in high
about
school.
Did you?
I did.
Mo was
Okay.
book smart though.
Yeah, I
Mo,
did.
shout out to the book smart people.
No, I did, but I did. But I mean, but that's the reality though. Like, school affects or impacts everybody differently.
Yeah.
True
You
story.
know, and I think ultimately when it comes to what we apply in the real world, school really does not prepare us for real life. It prepares us to go get a job.
That's
It
true.
prepares us to go into the system the way that they want us to go into it.
Right.
So that's why they changed the curriculum over the years. Because I remember when I went to school, like, we didn't have like the workshop classes.
Right.
Where people were like literally learning like trades. And I remember my brother, because he's 6 years older than me, when he was in school, I remember them going and having like workshop and like sawing stuff and
True
different
story.
things like that.
Yeah.
So when I went to school, it was like you cutting open a frog. I didn't want to cut open no frog. I'm like, but we didn't learn none of that.
Right.
So, but it was more, just like the education and things like that. But that's cool.
Yeah, so that, just to kind of go back to that and kind of fast forward, those conversations, that was a seed planted, like, man, we have to teach financial literacy in school.
That's dope.
So I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and ended up just taking a chance. Lansing wasn't, I felt like I was on a hamster wheel.
Right.
I couldn't necessarily get over the hump.
Why Atlanta though?
Just felt like I was just
What made you think
Well, I
that?
had some family and some friends
Okay.
here, and actually one of my mentees that would help me promote and pass out flyers went to Clark Atlanta University.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, that's a long story right there. So, I just took a chance. I packed up my car, ended up staying with the guy that went to Clark Atlanta University.
Okay.
Laid on his floor for a couple of days and ended up getting a job in higher education. And so that next year is when I decided that I wanted to launch Street Credit Incorporated, which was to teach youth and young adults about financial literacy.
It's crazy that you teaching that. We just went to a school today at a middle school in Jonesboro, and we talked about entrepreneurship. It was career day. So that's dope that you doing that. Like that's you
Yeah.
plugged in already.
Yeah.
We just get called, every once in a while to do it, but this is what you're doing. That's dope.
Yeah. And it's interesting. We came up with a curriculum, and ended up getting our 501c3, which is a nonprofit status. And man, we just executed. Started going into high schools, elementary schools, community centers. And we learned right away we had to take financial literacy to people. People ain't coming to learn about financial literacy. We had to take it to them.
Right.
But what was interesting was not only was the students in the classroom captivated, we also was captivating the teachers and the people, the mentors and counselors was over there taking notes.
Same thing today. Like
Yeah.
literally, like
The
the
teachers
teachers,
were-
they were getting our information. You got a business card,
Right.
you know.
Yeah,
But no, I was actually just going to ask you, were the students receptive of the information that you were sharing with them?
absolutely. And I think the approach that we wanted to take, and I think that's the approach that I got from my brother, is that swag and that
Yeah.
that ability to connect.
To make them look like
Yeah.
you're like the street dude, but not
Yeah,
the street dude.
exactly
They
correct.
feel like they can
Speak
relate
their
to you.
language.
Relate
Yeah.
to him, yeah. You can
Yeah.
talk to him like
Yeah.
he's the guy, but he's not the guy on the corner. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
But still the guy in front of you that can give you information and knowledge that you can look up to.
Absolutely.
So hence the name Street Cred.
Yeah, dope. I like
the
it.
way that we come into the classroom, usually just jeans, tennis shoes, t-shirt, baseball cap, but we kicking and providing that knowledge.
Got you.
And so
Now,
we're-
you have a book too, right?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Oh, shout out to the book.
Yeah.
Plug.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So where can people find your book?
So you can go to Amazon.com
Okay.
and just type in Street Cred, Khalil, AZIZ, and you'll find the book.
That's dope,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Book.
yeah.
So author, nonprofit. What's this other thing you got? There's something else that you got that we need to go ahead and talk about. It's little, we talked about it a little bit, but we really need to tap into because people need to go there for the other part. So we got the mental and the mindset right, but we also got to take care of our physical.
That's exactly correct. That's exactly correct.
So how did that come about?
Man, so that came from the hustle as well. So funny story about that. 2013, 2012 was introduced to cycling, spin class. So my first experience was in top of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Went to a cycling class, white lady playing rock and roll music. It was the hardest thing I ever did in my entire life. And then the next opportunity, someone invited me to the south side of Atlanta, to Camp Creek, LA Fitness.
Oh,
And
okay.
so they were playing our music.
Yeah.
The room was sweated out, the mirrors was fogged up, and it was just an amazing experience. And at the time, I was in network marketing, selling supplements for health.
Okay.
And so I was trying to build my team, of course, and trying to recruit. And I'm trying to tell the instructors, look, if you sign on with me, these students will do anything that you say. So they wouldn't listen to me and sign on. So I said, I'm going to show you better than I could tell you. So I decided to become an instructor based on me trying to kind of get in front of people. I love cycling, but I wanted to get in front of people and have the influence of an instructor so that I can distribute my products.
So did somebody have to train you, or is there like some type of lesson or class that you take to become an instructor?
You just jump in the pool and just try to swim.
Jump in.
Back
Really?
then.
Back
It was
then.
yeah.
See, the ladies come in, they be
All right,
changing
all right.
stuff up. And we got to take a class. You got to do this, that. Sign here, sign there.
Right.
So let's bring Kamilah into the conversation.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give you your own introduction.
Really? Well, thank
Coach
you.
K.
Yes, Coach K, Coach Kmil, Kamilah,
I have many aliases.
Right.
all the above. So you're an instructor at Cycle Gang Fitness.
Yes.
And you also have Fly Girl Fitness.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But let's talk about your journey in fitness as well. Because I
Okay.
know you have your own story.
Yeah. Well, mine is all centered around entrepreneurship as well. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, so I was literally like bred into business.
And you're from Atlanta.
I'm from Atlanta, born and raised, East Point, Georgia, Washington Road. I got to give the ATL swag. But my mom was in her head, she still thinks she is. She's 78. She's supposed to be retired, but we're trying to keep her off the floor. But my mom was a prominent business owner here in Atlanta. She had a salon called Styles by Dolores on Cascade Road for 40 years.
Whoa.
So I was literally like raised in the salon. Like
Really?
as soon as we
Okay.
could walk, she was like showing us inventory, having us go while they under the dryer, going selling, stuff. She had 3 salons, one in Savannah, 2 here. So I just grew up like seeing it. My grandma had a nursery out of her house though, her paid for it condo, but she always had a house full of kids, and she was big on like making your own money, counting your money. She just taught us so many things. And my dad was an entrepreneur in a whole nother realm. He was more the hustler. He was 50 when I was born, and from Atlanta. You know, he's from Atlanta too, so he grew up selling like moonshine, running numbers, doing a lot of things. He had that hustle mentality as well. So we were just surrounded by it. So
you had no choice.
I literally had no choice. You know, they just did not believe in like the working culture. You know, I always tell this story. Even when I was an intern, and I worked really hard. Well, not too hard, but I did get this internship for 97.5 at the time. It's 107.9 now. Okay. But I was so happy, and I went home and I told my mom. I was at Georgia State at the time, and I said, "Mom, I got this internship. I'm working with sales," and they said I'm going to be working in, you know, all these different things. And she was like, "So how much you get paid?" I was like, "Well, it's the internship. You know, we learn. You know." Right. She was like, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of." You've been interning
with me your whole life.
She was like, "You know, what are you trying to learn?" Right. But to me, it was radio. I love radio. I love journalism. That's what I went to college for. So I was more about the experience, and anything I do, I'm like really great at it. And once I learn, I can like top it. So I'm like, "Mom, I'm already in here doing this." She thought it was stupid, but she did give me great advice. You know, she just said, "I think for the long run, you know, that's not, you stand here for years working for somebody for free, trying to climb up their ladder is really wasting your time. You could create she was all about creating your own opportunities."
I feel like it's always about the way you say things.
Yeah.
So had she did it another way, you'd might be like, "Dang, like, why you shoot me down like that?"
Right, yeah.
But the presentation was
it was like you're greater than that.
Right.
It wasn't like you're stupid.
Right.
It was just like,
that's the dumbest thing. You know
it's like you're greater than that. And so she always reminded us of that. And so when I was 10 years old, I was raised in Montessori school, and I went to public school, and I just was used to a certain way. So when I went to public school and the kids was like, "We dress this way, we look this way," I was not like that. In Montessori school, you can wear whatever, you know, it was just. So anyway, I went home and I said, "Mom, I need some Deons, I need some Jordans." I'm like, and you know, we dress nice, we come from a nice, but it just wasn't about name brands and things like that. I would go to Payless and think, I'm getting some nice sneakers. I'm like, they work. She said, "If you want a $100 pair of shoes, I'll take you to get a $100 pair of shoes." I thought we were going to Greenbrier. She took me to Sam's and bought me a box of M&Ms. She gave me a receipt, circle how much she invested, told me, you know, go sell it, see how long it take you to sell it.
That's how you do it.
Give me your money back that I gave you.
And you can buy your shoes.
And you can buy you another box.
And you was out there slinging.
I definitely.
You was outside.
You
I was like,
$100.
And I made it so fast.
Right.
I went to school so fast, and it was going so fast. And then I'll never forget when she took me to Walters. Shout out to Walters. That's real ATL history right there. Real. But I remember going to Walters and being able to buy my tennis skirt and buy my Deons. You couldn't tell me nothing. At 10 years old, I was sold. From that point on, I love the feeling of being able to create something of my own, even if it was some M&Ms. And
Did you keep going with the M&Ms?
Yeah, okay. Well, until the teachers told me I couldn't.
Oh,
they
hated
got
jealous.
It was a school rule that we couldn't
sell.
We couldn't sell. Yeah, it was a school rule back then. You know, you couldn't really come to school doing that. I had it in my book bag. I'm hustling and stuff, but I never stopped trying to hustle, like, you know, and find my own opportunities. So from there, I just always I had my own prize of being an entrepreneur. I think the longest job I held was being a flight attendant. I did that for 10 years, and I was able to do that because it was so flexible.
Right, you was flying everywhere.
Yeah, and I was able to work on my own. And from that, I started my first company, which was Fly Girl Boutique. And it was aviation-inspired apparel and accessories. Because I was always looking for a lane. And I just remember thinking, when I would be packing my bags, I'm like, I'm tired of packing my bags, trying to figure out what to wear. You know, I'm tired of buying jewelry, and it's not swaggy and it's not fly like how I am. You know, I don't want to wear pearls like all the older ladies are wearing. We was this whole young black crew, you know, this new crop of flight attendants. And so I just saw a lane. And so I started off with T-shirts that just cater and said stuff that we could relate to specifically, like marry me, fly free, no buddy passes, things like that. And it just took off. And I started out just selling them in the airport, literally walking around. And you said we was talking about the grimy part of this.
Right.
So I would say this, I don't want to make it seem like I had this idea and I was like, I'm out here, boom. I was scared as hell. Like, I was really nervous. I wasn't super confident in what I was charging. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to charge $20 for a T-shirt. Right. And I remember one of the gate agents, she was like, you need to man up. Like, you got to be, if you're going to sell this stuff, you got to sell it. And that's how my mom was too. And so I wrote down on a poop, the throw-up paper on the plane. Yeah. I picked the throw-up paper out and I just wrote out all these things that I really didn't believe about myself, but I know if I was gonna really do this thing like I wanted to, I had to believe it. So I wrote out things like, you're great, you're a finisher, you're rich, you're, all these things I wanted to see for my business. And it gave me confidence. And so I just started staying at the airport an extra 6 hours, and I walk every single concourse and go to every gate. They trying to board the plane. I'm at the gate like, I got these T-shirts, and it made such an impact that stores in the airport started looking for me. And then I didn't even know when people start calling me like, can I get a purchase order? I was on the phone on the plane like, yes, Googling, what is a purchase order? I literally walked myself through that business, but it did really well, and that's how I left. And so that took me to the full, I've been out here full since 2014 doing it on my own.
Whoa. What's dope about your story is that I don't know who told you or if you knew to write out, because when you write things out, it's kind of like, it's an affirmation. You're making it become what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I don't know who told you that or what happened.
It was that gate agent.
Okay.
She was the one who said, if you're gonna do this, you need to do whatever you can to feed your spirit. And she said, you need to write out these things. And so she gave me that advice, and I did it that night. And I used to keep that bag with me, that poop bag, keep it in my bag and read it. Literally sit on the jump seat, and we taking off doing our regular flight attendant duties, but on my break, I was always reading that to myself, always just feeding myself that, because I know I got to get out of here. I didn't want to be on the plane for the rest of my life. I knew I was ready to go.
So the Fly Girl concept came from you being a flight attendant?
Yes.
Wow, never knew that.
Yes, that's how
I thought it was just like literally just like Fly Girl.
Yeah, no, it literally came from me being a flight attendant. But it always stood for my business, it was always the acronym, First Love Yourself. So even with it being catered to aviation and, a fashion company, it was always about loving yourself more from the inside. So that was the whole brand. We tied that in with different campaigns and, work in the community and just things like that. I've always been very passionate about women loving themselves more, because I come from being bullied, and that you said, what do you learn in high school? That's what I learned. That set me up for life, like dealing with that, learning to deal with people, with haters, overcoming that. And so that's why I'm real big on self-confidence and stuff, because for a long time I tried to lower my, let my light not shine so it wouldn't make other people uncomfortable. So now I'm all about fuck that, let your light shine. So that's what Fly Girl is really all about.
Man, I'm telling you guys, literally, if you guys, it's just so much, and for me, because I know the two of you, and it's more than just coming to cycle with you guys. These are two of my favorite instructors. So when I go to cycle and I love all the instructors, I love all of them. But I try to make sure that I definitely go on Saturdays and Sundays. I try to go when I can during the week, but I'm going on Sunday because I know Khalil's gonna be on the bike and it's gonna be a good push. Kmil, when she's on the bike, it's a good push. It's balanced, but you get more than just a ride. Right. You guys always give people a word. It's motivational, and you guys just push us to just be great beyond the bike. Okay? So, and I can say that. So, Khalil's nickname, guys, is the Psycho Minister. So you guys can actually follow him at the Psycho Minister, because you're going to get a word on the bike. So if you go to his class on a Sunday, you're going to get the word. You're going to really feel like you walk away with something. And every class that Kmil has is always, she's going to give you, she pushes you. And the way that you speak about your mom, now it makes sense in how you really push us in your class, because it's just like, come on, y'all. Yes. I know y'all not. You bigger than this. Yes. You great. Yes. Come on, Mo. Oh, shit.
Yeah, my mom is the original Joe. My mom is the original Joe Jackson.
Yeah.
She didn't play. You couldn't, Saturday morning, it wasn't no cartoons and cereal. Really? It was not like that. Really? It was get up and go to work. We never really had, I had to navigate through that and find balance as an adult. Right. But we did not. She was just about, let's go. If I was in one just because I was in gymnastics didn't mean I should be tired when I get to modeling class. Just because I went to modeling class all night doesn't mean I should be tired when I get to school. I should still come home and have good grades. You know, she had us involved in everything.
That's good.
That's awesome.
We did not have it was like, but my sister is an entrepreneur too. We both were bred like
What's
that.
dope about that is it sounds like your mom and your brother kind of gave y'all like avenues to take on in life.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So it like gave you guys a catapult, because not everybody has that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that'll tell you like, I just came from nothing.
Right.
I didn't have this. I didn't have that. You know, I get that all the time. Like me and my wife talk about it all the time, because she didn't have that in her family, where you got people that were doing this or doing that. So she always talks about me, because my mom was a hustler and my dad, same thing. So she always, you know, it's some people don't ever get that. You know, they don't see somebody in their family trying to push them in that direction. They just, you know, they grow up where they're from, and they never leave.
Or they
You know
could
what
be
I'm
trying to
saying?
push you in the other direction of, you might have dreams and think I can
They
do
want you
this,
to
and
go
they
to
could be
work.
like, no, you need to go for more
Exactly.
stability.
Yeah.
You
Right.
need to go, you know, get this degree and take this
the safe
route.
route.
Yeah.
And they could be pushing you in that direction. I know people
Yeah.
who've allowed that to stifle them, and you know, you can live with regret because of that. If it's really in entrepreneurship, ain't for everybody,
No,
but
it's
it's
not.
really in
And
your heart,
it's in you.
then you got to go for it.
Yep.
So let's go back to you, Khalil. So when you opened Cycle Gang, what was the transition like, going from being an instructor at LA Fitness to starting or opening your own facility?
Wow, that's a great question. You know, initially, I never thought about opening up a cycling studio. This was it was going to be a brand. Cycle Gang started off as just a brand, and I wanted to create an umbrella of all the cycling studios and instructors and riders in the Atlanta area. And so I had T-shirts, you know, under Cycle Gang. I would go to different studios and sell T-shirts and, you know, create supplements. And so I thought maybe I could create some cycle gear
Right.
out of this situation. But
It's like a culture.
yeah, absolutely. But the brand grew. We had a good social media presence. People were wearing the T-shirt proudly, you know. And that name, Cycle Gang, just started to buzz. You're part of the Cycle Gang. You're part of the Cycle Gang. And I think one of my homies from back home I think I posted a April Fool's picture, just playing around. I don't know what made me do it. But I posted a picture of a studio, and I said I'm opening, grand opening or something like that. And people really believed it. And so it's April 1st.
That is funny.
And so one of the homies, you know, hit me up. He texted me and said, man, if you don't go ahead and open up, you know, get you a little spot, put some mirrors up and open you up your own spot. I see you doing your thing. You know, what you waiting on? So that conversation, and that is what kind of started my thinking, like, man, I could open up my own spot. You know, I seen some other folks come from LA Fitness, open up their location, and so I see that could be done. So my first initial thought was, well, I'll start a cycling studio through a box truck. I'll load up some bikes on a box truck, and I'll find some parks, and I'll roll up to the park, and then I'll roll the bikes out.
That's a good idea. Hey, you
Yeah.
gotta stop telling people information, man.
Right. So I'm doing all kind of research on
Be outside. Got a box truck.
That's a lot.
So that's a lot, right?
It is
So
a lot.
It's a lot of work.
So
Those
as
bikes
I
are-
started looking at it, I was like, man, that's a lot of labors. And
Yeah.
plus, it's dependent on the weather and all of that.
Right.
So, but that's me trying to be safe, you know, trying to find a safe way to do it. And I think God was like, no, I don't want you to be safe. I want you to think
All the way out
big.
there, yeah.
Get you a building, find you a location, and make it happen. And so I remembered a location that one of my homies took me to in College Park, where it was a CrossFit gym.
I remember that gym. Like, that was
Yeah.
the first. That's when I first met you. Mo took
Oh,
me,
yeah, you came.
Took me in. Who was with us?
I can't remember.
Was it
But
Somebody else was with. It was three of us, but we came to that first one.
At the warehouse.
CrossFit, yeah, it was smaller.
Yeah.
But still, you got your working.
Got your work. So I remember that location, and I knew in my mind I wanted some kind of industrial kind of like look, and that's the kind of look it had. I didn't want to spend too much. I always look for a little spot where my overhead is low.
Yeah, smart.
You know,
That's business. That's business 101.
So I went to that location, found the property manager, and she showed me around. And I walked into this garage that had electric cords hanging from the ceiling. You know, shelves all over the place, smelled like must. And I was like, yeah, this is perfect. This is it. This is gonna do it.
Yeah.
So, and that's the beginning of Cycle Gang Fitness Studios right there.
And now you got a whole new location.
Yeah. So interesting story about that. That new location came from out of COVID-19 hit. So 1 year of doing business, 2019, we opened up, and it's doing well. Cycle Gang got its own spot. People are coming, we're vibing, we're attracting new members, and 2020 happens. It's like, oh hell nah.
Yeah.
It's just like what? So I had to everything that I learned in terms of mindset that kicked in, and so I didn't remember feeling afraid. I just remember feeling like, what do I got to do to make this survive?
Right.
And so we made it through. We from closing our doors to the police putting signs on our building saying you can't go into this building. And so we decided, I said, well, we can't go inside, so we just gonna bring the bikes outside. I thought I had originally in the first place. So we're gonna bring our bikes outside and have classes outside in our parking lot. That's what we're gonna do to get through.
And that was fun.
Yeah, I
That
saw
was a lot of fun.
Mo was
It
posting
was
that.
hot,
Mo was posting that. Yeah, I know y'all
Yeah.
was hot out there. Yeah,
but
I seen
it was fun though.
Yeah, and it was necessary
Yeah.
because you know during that time going through being shut down and
Yeah.
just being-
everybody like just mentally feeling like they're just kind of just cut off from the world. It was just like when that opportunity presented itself, it was,
Yeah.
I'm there.
Right.
You know, people had on masks and everything. You know, even though we were outside, but it was just like whatever we have to do. But we came.
Yes.
And they had the spray bottles wiping down bikes after every. But but those are practices. There's so much that we got from COVID that we just still make. That I think we became more knowledgeable. You know, like
Had
even-
to. You didn't have a choice.
yeah, like when you think about it, you go to the gas station, you would just pick up a pump. How many people have picked up that pump?
Wow.
And it's just like how nasty things are. And we literally would just go pick up you go to the gas station, go get some M&Ms or Skittles, whatever. You pump your gas, you get in your car, you drive off. What do? You open the Skittles, put them in your hand, and you start popping them in your mouth.
Oh God.
I agree.
Right?
I think it just really forced you to kind of pull out every strength that you had.
Pay attention.
And
Every
if
strength.
you were sitting on a talent, it made you,
Oh, that too.
you know,
How many
Yes.
people
just manifest.
How many
Start
people
doing
just
stuff.
started opening
Yes.
business like, you know
Yeah.
what, the time
Left
is
and right.
now. Let's do it. It's people that we know that are very successful businesses and just booming just from COVID.
Yeah.
Because they had an opportunity. It's forced you into what you had in you already.
Absolutely.
So let's go back to when you actually left LA Fitness and opened the studio. So you have this idea, but were you doing all the classes by yourself, or like how did you start incorporating or finding other instructors?
Initially, you got to wear a lot of hats as an entrepreneur, and I was willing to do that. Initially, I had no instructors, to be honest with you.
Wow.
But I had one thing about I would like to believe, and I feel like I'm getting better at, is just being inclusive and recognizing everyone's gifts and talents and skills. So I always made Cycle Gang not about me, but about the culture. And so when I opened up, the very first day I opened up, it was about all the cycle instructors in Atlanta and showcasing them as a coach in Atlanta. And that's how it's always been. I just always want to highlight and showcase the culture. I didn't want to be at the center of it.
Gotcha.
But initially, you had to teach 5 a.m., 7 a.m., 9 a.m.,
5.
2 times a day, 3 times a
I
day.
did the
Man,
5
you was-
a.m.
I
before.
did. You know what?
You
It
wasn't
actually.
playing.
No.
I was there a few times.
No, I'm just saying, you wasn't playing it
Oh,
just
him.
single,
My
solo.
bad.
Yeah, not you, Mo. I'm just saying, solo,
Yeah.
starting out your gym, like you 5, So it was a lot of instructing versus just being
Absolutely, a lot of instructing
walking around
while managing the business side of it.
Yeah.
So like we know there's the what you see, which is the business. You walking in and get to experience a good time.
But they're behind
then
the
there's
scenes.
also some behind the scene that you don't see. But just having that spirit of inclusiveness attracted the right people. So I attracted a couple of instructors, and then this young lady walked through the door.
Yeah, that's a crazy story.
This young lady walked through the door, and I knew of her. I knew how fly she was, and what attracted me about Kmil over everything wasn't necessarily what she did on the bike, but the name Fly. She's a fly girl, and so that's important. Cycle Gang is not only about cycling and fitness, but it's a culture. It's a
Super
swag.
culture.
It's a
once you leave,
it's an experience.
Once you watch this podcast and you go experience Cycle Gang, you know exactly what he's talking about. It's all culture.
Yeah.
From the time you walk in the door to the time you walk out.
Yeah.
It's an experience for sure.
So she came. I think you had your hair was green.
Oh
short,
yeah, I had a
green and
fade.
red.
I had like a green
You
fade.
did. Wow.
I was like, I don't know. I was doing
Wow.
CrossFit. I was coming in like, yeah, it was totally
Okay.
different. And I just got fired.
So were you going to CrossFit next door, and then you came
No,
over?
I was working. I started off. I used to work at a CrossFit gym called Total Fitness Revolution. They're no longer there, but I started off there while I was in school to get my personal training license and all that stuff. I was teaching cycling there. And I was recruited from LA Fitness. I started cycling at LA Fitness. And actually, backstory just on how Khalil, me and him were like always kind of just met. But I always tell this story. When I first started teaching, cycling in Atlanta is real crazy. And it was, at the time, it still is, but back then it was very competitive, especially at LA Fitness. It was very competitive, very like mean girls, mean guys.
Really?
The guys kind of got along more than the girls, but it was a little petty.
Wow, the girls were petty?
Yeah, and I really didn't know. I was just
behind
like,
the
la,
scenes.
la, 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 I'm about to teach cycle. And then when I got into it, I was like, this is absolutely insane. But I remember a class I was teaching, and I was coming behind Khalil, and Khalil just had the, his class was full. He was like well established, people knew of him. And I was very nervous, but Khalil saw me coming in, I'm getting ready to set up, and he had this full class, they all leaving. And I remember he said, hey guys, he told his class, he said, let's stay and let's take her class. And I was thinking, really? And and he did. He got everybody. They stayed and they rode with me, and they were so hyped. They pumped me up, and that made me feel so good. I was a fresh instructor,
Yeah.
and so that always gave me I just knew he was a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from there, I always was like, okay, cool, and so I always had my own journey I was walking. But I went to another studio, and something happened with that business-wise, and so I was released from that, which was good because I didn't need to go. And so when I was released, I had a contract where I couldn't be around like the downtown area. And so at the time,
was
Khalil
serious.
had just, oh yeah, it gets deep. So, but at the time, Khalil had just opened up Cycle Gang. He was probably a few
It
months
sounds like a
in.
record deal where it's just like you
Right.
gotta
Like that.
you gotta
Oh, it
complete
is.
these 3 albums before we'll
Oh, it
release
is. And if anybody gets into this
Wow.
industry, don't do it. Because you're just green. You don't know. And even when I tried out for Soul Cycle and made it all the way, and was about to be signed, I could not be signed because of my contract with Vibe Ride. So you have to definitely be cautious of that. But anyway, I said that to say that's how I walked in the door, because Khalil was literally like a half a mile out of the radius where I was safe to. I wasn't even going there to really be a teacher. I was just going there to like support, ride, because I love to ride, And so when I came in, and he was looking, when I came in, I kind of already had a feeling like, oh my God, I think I'm going to be teaching here like as soon as I came in. Because it just felt like home. It felt like it was, and it reminded me how nice he was when we first met before. And I wanted to be somewhere where I could be respected as a person, as a businesswoman, and as a great cycle instructor. And Khalil has always been that. So that's what brought me in. And he's been saying since I got here, like, okay, you're going to be my partner. And it just kind of have merged into that.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
a great story.
It is a great story.
Yeah, I'm glad I walked in.
It's kind of like you was in alignment, like going
Totally.
what he was building you didn't even know what he was building and what he
Had
had
no
going
clue.
on, and you just and now
Yeah.
and now look.
Yeah, because now, like, you know, even with my business, we do so many things together. You know, I train out of there with my small group clients as well. I have a meal prep company, and Khalil gives me so many opportunities. People are able to come pick up their meal prep from the studio. Thank you, my brother. But he does.
But let's talk about
everybody
that.
eats.
So Kmil,
Literally.
go back. So you have Fly Girl Foods, right?
Yeah, well, it's Fly Foods.
Fly Foods.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's many entities to my business, but I do senior fitness, small group personal training, virtual
Serial
fitness,
entrepreneur.
definitely, virtual fitness, meal prep, and then indoor cycling, and then I also instruct. I do trainer instructing.
But tell everybody too about the meals, because you offer vegan. You
Yeah.
know, of course, they're healthy options. But tell everybody about the type of meals that you do prepare.
Yeah, so Fly Foods is all about, it's literally fly food. When I got into fitness and trying to refer my clients to meal prep companies, I hate boring food. You know, I'm Southern. I was raised on good food. My family's Geechee. You know, I like lots of flavor, Caribbean type situations. And I'm not finna eat just like no quinoa and, you know, I'm not finna do that every day.
It's hard. It's hard.
I
when you
can't,
meal
I'm
prep.
not, that's not me. That's
It's
just
hard.
not me.
It's just hard when you're eating the meal prep over and over again.
Yeah,
the
it's
same
like
thing.
boring.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't want to refer my clients to some boring ass meal prep.
Right.
And so I even had to learn for myself how to cook in a way that I liked, that was still aligned with what I know I want to do as far as being healthier. So I started to just cut different things and cook different ways. And so anyway, Fly Foods is low carb, low calorie, low sodium. We don't use any like salt or anything like that. It's all fresh herbs. We don't use, all of our sauces are made fresh. No can, nothing. Everything is fresh, and then it's all fly. It's swaggy, you know.
It's
You're gonna,
good.
you're gonna
It's
eat
good.
on something just different. So it makes your lunch or your dinner an experience more than just. You don't want to open up your meal prep and be like, you know, I want you to
Look like
Been
this
there, done
again.
that.
womp womp womp.
I gotta get this weight off me, but
Right.
You gotta
yeah.
share some of the names of the meals.
Oh yeah, we name everything after Atlanta. Me and my sister are we Atlanta. So we might have the Bankhead bourbon chicken salad. we got our college.
Okay.
We don't say College Park. We say Collie Park. COLLIPARK. Collie Park cauliflower wings. They'll change your life. They buffalo and lemon pepper. Because if you're from Atlanta, we don't separate it. You put it together.
Get that hot with the lemon pepper sprinkles.
Yes,
Right,
with the
right.
lemon pepper sprinkles.
All flats.
Yeah, look, right. We can't do flats on the cauliflower, but if we can
I
make
know,
it
I
look
was
like
just
that,
saying,
that's
I
a
was
good
just
idea. But yeah, we do different. We name it after Atlanta. We make it swaggy. We make it fun. And we've been doing it now. That came just literally us needing more income. Like me and my sister at the time were doing good, but we needed to have multiple streams.
All right, so I'm about to tell y'all a fun fact about Coach K.
Oh gosh.
So right now she is wearing an Adidas outfit, and most of the time that you see her, she's gonna be in Adidas.
Yes.
And specifically Ivy Park.
Yeah.
So learned another fun fact about my business partner here today, that he's a huge Beyonce fan along with Kmil. So I say all this to say that if you guys catch Coach K riding the majority of the time, she's going to be in some Ivy Park gear. And I got to give her a shout out because Ivy Park actually reposted one of her posts.
Yes.
And
That's dope.
I saw it, I was just like, whoa. And then, because you had reposted it, but it was just like, that was so dope. So even when we talk about all the things that we do and what we pursue, and just, because you never know who's watching you.
You never know.
You never know who's watching you.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, but I just wanted to publicly give you a shout out for the Ivy Park repost.
Thank you.
And for the Beyonce fan base that we have here.
Real quick,
We just,
that thunder was super loud.
okay.
Damn.
You can hear it.
Okay.
Right? So I just want to go right back.
The Ivy Park.
It was picking up.
Yeah, that
Okay.
Ivy Park. She always wear the Ivy Park.
Oh,
Adidas.
go all the way back. Okay.
Yeah.
So
that,
start over.
that thunder took over. Like,
I like the
it
thunder.
was like boom, boom.
No, I'm just kidding.
It was a full thing.
Okay.
I'm sure over there, they're like, what the
I had to just go back to that.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Okay.
We got it.
So one thing that I can guarantee you guys, when Coach K is on the bike, she's going to be in some Adidas apparel, right? As you can see, she has on right now. And I just got to give her a shout out, and John too, because I just learned something about my business partner today that I did not know. But these two are huge Beyonce fans.
Beyonce fan for sure.
Right. So we have a little beehive over here. But now I just want to give Coach K a shout out because the majority of the time she's going to be riding in Ivy Park or Adidas apparel. And Ivy Park actually reposted one of your posts.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah, what was that moment like?
like literally, I felt like I won the lottery. Like I got up. I could not, like, I got up, I ran outside, my hair was a mess, everything. I was on my porch. Can I talk freely here?
Yeah.
I had a blunt in my mouth. I was like, just spinning around in circles. I was so happy. I was dancing. Like, I was just on cloud 9. And after that, they, like, paid attention to, like, everything I did. Every time I put something up, they would at least like it or send something to me.
You need a sponsorship.
I know. I'm working on it. One day. One day.
I think you should do an Ivy Park fly ride. I think that should be a thing one day.
Yeah.
And we all just post and tag.
Yeah, we did the Beyonce listening party for her album when it came out. We rode to the whole album. Yeah, and a lot of people did show up in Ivy Park.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, I'm a huge Beyonce fan. Well,
Yeah, but no, the Cycle Gang, but that's what Cycle Gang is about, though. It's an experience. And it's funny because I went to LA Fitness to work out a couple weeks ago, and they had a class going, and the instructor was actually pretty good.
Oh.
But I would not go in there. I'm loyal to my Cycle Gang.
oh,
But I looked, and I was just like, okay, they doing all right, but it ain't Cycle
were the
Gang.
windows sweaty? Was it foggy?
They had the doors open. No, it wasn't foggy, but it was,
They were still getting it. They were
good.
That's what the Cycle Gang. You go to the Cycle Gang, windows foggy, everybody's sweating about to pass out. That's Cycle
Yeah,
Gang.
I'm like, did we see fog?
But definitely I encourage everybody, and if you get a chance, if you're in the Atlanta area, they're right near the airport, so if you're flying in, you're visiting, and you need to get that workout in while you're here, definitely at Cycle Gang. But even if you're just in the Atlanta area, like, go experience it. I love it. Like, I'm an advocate for it, and I'm loyal, so I don't spend nowhere else.
Thank you. We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you,
that,
guys.
Mom.
So what I want to say real quick is tell us about these moments that because both of you experienced being entrepreneurs where you've had to, I know you were talking about the gritty part, where it's at the very bottom, starting Cycle Gang, starting a nonprofit, starting your business to fly.
Oh, yeah.
At the bottom, like when you started it, but there were the mornings that you felt like, man, all right, I got this business, but out today I just don't feel like doing it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because we still had those moments.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yes, we still had those moments right now, successful and everything.
I had it today.
Yeah.
Right. I had it like 3 days ago.
See, that's what I'm saying, because we all go through it as entrepreneurs, because guess what? We it's still our baby. That's us. So when we have those things, we have these moments. But let's talk about that, because everybody that watches thinks that, oh, Cycle Gang just doing their thing, and
It's lit.
it's always
It's
been
off
like
the
that.
chain,
The first day they opened, it was this and it's that. Let's talk about when it's not that.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's been times where I've sat in my car and like, why are you doing this? What are you doing? You don't have to do this.
Right.
And it's been some tough days mentally.
Yeah.
Exhausting, where you're crisscrossing and ripping and running and just exerting a lot of energy and physical energy and mental energy and sacrificing being away from your family and your children and your grandchildren and your wife and your girlfriend and not showing up, and just because you're trying to put together this business. So it's a lot. It's entrepreneurship. It's not about money. It's not about money. I realize that. It's almost a fix. I think an entrepreneur is not moved by money. They're moved by the achievement.
Yeah. Purpose.
Absolutely.
To be able to bring something out of your mind and see it manifest in its physical form. That's what gets an entrepreneur off.
Yep.
I always say the money's gonna come.
Yeah.
When you do what you love,
Yeah,
like
money gonna
when
come.
people do it for money, But when people do it because it's a passion and they're really, really sincere about it, it's two totally different experiences.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Two totally different experiences.
Yeah, my grimy is grimy, okay? Because when I switched over into full entrepreneurship, I definitely was like, I'm ready for this. You know, I'm bred for this. I had a lot of money in the bank. I had a successful company. But then my father passed, and although he was sick, I still didn't anticipate how it would affect me. And then that taught me, like, entrepreneurship, you got to get up when you don't feel like getting up, you know? And when my dad died, I could not find that click to turn it over, to get up. And I beat myself up about it, and it just started this whole spiral of me just, I don't know. So anyway, I went through the process, and I had to start from the bottom. I literally went from like a Mercedes coupe to no car at all. I went from a beautiful apartment on the runway of Hartsfield to moving in with my sister and staying in my niece's bed. You know, I literally lost a lot, I would say, tangible things, but I learned so much in that. That's where I really learned what the grind was all about. You know, that's when I really learned the passion of, I had to start from the beginning. I went from like a two-way page and all this stuff to a flip phone, you know, with Metro. And so I had to literally learn, I had to go from everything, get another bank account. I started from the bottom. And it started with me just working on myself from the inside and getting stronger on the inside. But now, when I think about...
How much more do you appreciate
it
now?
I wouldn't change it. Yeah. Being in there asking, I remember when I had to go ask for food stamps, and I remember I'm like, no, I need these, like, where's the emergency line? Like, I need this now. You know what I'm saying? But looking back at that, I wouldn't change any of it, because that's what made me who I am today. Yeah. You know, when I think about how successful I've been able to bring my business in from the bootstraps, you know, it just makes me more empowered as an entrepreneur. So I wouldn't change it.
Wait, didn't you recently do something? Were you on an island and you took a group?
Yeah.
It was a group of women?
We went to Punta Cana.
So
I took 18 women to Punta Cana.
You took 18 women to Punta Cana?
But talk about that, because it's like, you know, and that's the thing, when people are pursuing entrepreneurship, and as soon as things get uncomfortable,
they out.
Right.
They out.
Yep.
But now when you think about, like you say, you want to change it for the world. And to now be able to speak on the experiences that you're having and the things that you're doing, like, what was that trip? Because I saw it online.
Yeah, so I did a retreat, which is huge for my business. I've always wanted to do that. I wanted to do a retreat out the country. And so my initial goal was to take 10 women, fly girls, to Punta Cana. And I ended up getting 18. And it was just a beautiful time. I had my client that I trained virtually from Germany. She came. I've been training her virtually for 5 years. I've never seen her in person.
That was your first time meeting her?
First time I cried like a baby. And I cried the whole weekend because it was surreal.
Yeah.
And I didn't think, at first when I was there, I was just like, oh, I'm on cloud nine. I was just, you know, but as people started coming in the door, I literally just started weeping.
Wow.
Because it's those moments as an entrepreneur, I was just so like, I know that God is in control. I'm like, I was just so proud of myself. I was thankful to my ancestors. I'm like, I have come a long way. You know, we were in this beautiful house on the beach, and everybody was just so you know, they were just so happy to be there. And I was thinking, I did this shit, you know? Right. So that was just one of those like really big moments in my entrepreneurial
Congratulations
journey.
on that.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Dang.
Yeah.
So what did you all like actually, like, what was that experience like?
Well, we were out there for 5 days. We had everything was covered. We had a chef, a private chef, and a whole team of people that cooked all of our food. It was all about luxury, love, peace, and just being fly. So we did a party on the boat one time. We went out to, we traveled into more of the city, and they took us out on the river, and we did like this club. It was like the club on the water situation. It was just boats everywhere. We could get off and go hookah and drink.
Like a trip we need to take.
I know, all in the water. That was really nice.
Yeah.
Everything was so surreal. We had one day where we were supposed to have a pool party, and it started raining. That was the only day it rained, but it worked out. Like, people started sharing stories with each other. Gospel music was playing in the background. It was like I started looking around and seeing like pockets of people just enjoying one another. And so everything was just, it happened the way it was supposed to happen. The last night we had a big hot pink party, and they brought all this champagne for us. I mean, we were literally treated like queens. And when people saw all these black women, because the house.
You doing it again, Kmil?
Yeah, I'm doing it again.
When?
I'm doing it again. next year.
Okay.
And I will definitely, you got to be there.
I'm going.
But when people, it was just even seeing the people's response to us. You know, we were working out, doing yoga. I did a boot camp all on the beach. And to see tourists and everybody looking like, who are these black women? You know, I'm like, yeah, we work out too. You know, so yeah, the whole thing was just surreal. It was a really, really, really good time, and I'm definitely doing it again. So I want you to be there.
I'll be there.
Yes.
And all you women out there, y'all better go follow Coach K and pay attention, because I think that sounds like an experience that
definitely
everybody needs to try to make.
Yes, and it was at the beginning of the year, so it just started the year off. Like, I still talk to people to this day whose year was just changed because they came and started. Yes. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's awesome. This is so good. Yeah, but I mean, but you know, everybody always says health as well, right? But we don't always practice what we preach, you know. So when it comes to having the outlets, and you know, here in Atlanta, I can just say, like, you know, the black fitness. The black fitness atmosphere here is off the chain.
It is.
There are so many different fitness studios and people thinking outside the box. And you know, all I can tell you guys is from my experience. When I don't feel like getting up out the bed, but when I go, I'm like, I needed that. I'm glad I went. I feel better, and my day is 1,000% better because I went and got on that bike.
Oh yeah. And I do want to say this, because me and Khalil was talking about this earlier, and I think it's important for people to know, because usually with cycling, you may see the videos, you may hear stories and stuff, and you may think, oh, there's no way I can do that. But I do want people to know that it's totally obtainable. You can do it. You just have to be consistent and be willing to try. But yeah, you don't have to come in perfect. You don't have people like, oh, I need to go run 10 miles before I do that. It's like, no, you don't.
Right.
You literally can start.
I spin better than I run. Don't put me on the track.
And we talking somebody that ran track.
You ran track?
Mo ran track.
Oh.
So you know, if somebody that their previous a sport that they did, now they prefer cycling over that sport.
Yeah,
You already know
and it's better for your knees. It's better for the long term. As you get older, be on that pavement, hitting that pavement. You know, it's better for the long run.
I'll be back for sure.
But
just to camelback off of what Kmil saying, true cycle gain form.
Yes.
So that's the physical part of it, but also with that, you carry that into life. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we want that parallel where that was beautiful what you said. You don't have to be prepared or no experience, but anything in life that you want to do, you don't necessarily have to be skilled at that.
Go do it.
You just have to have the desire and the will to do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
It's so many transformations that have come through there. And the thing is, it's just like you see people that, you know, like all different sizes, and they're there consistently and they're pedaling. But they'll tell you guys, if it's your first time or if you're new to it, just keep your legs moving. If you got to take a break, take a break. It's no pressure. And, you know, everybody that's riding in there, it's just like everybody's supportive, you know. So we're going to motivate each other. We're going to, you know, keep each other going and all that good stuff. But it's no pressure, because it's a lot. Because it's a lot of routines and all that good stuff.
They
but
be
the
doing
goal
the
is
arm movements and everything. Y'all they hit you with those, and you got one. Then they be what's the other one where you cycle and you like with no hands? They got they got everything, man. You gotta
no
go
hands.
check it out.
That's
The no hands, all that, all that
But you
shit.
said it right though. I mean, that's a great metaphor for life. It doesn't matter where you're at. You can come as you are.
Yeah.
You don't have to have any experience, as long as you have the desire and the will to keep going. That's all, and keep your legs going. And stay in your lane. You might see some flamingos doing some amazing stuff out there.
But Khalil, you said some great things right now. That's for life too.
Yeah.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Like especially with entrepreneurship, staying in your lane is so important. Like, and not trying to follow the trend, like you said, the flamingos and all this stuff. Staying in your lane is so huge to, I mean, I know y'all know this, but like to the grind is that's huge. So you said some
100%.
stuff. You said some stuff
And
right now.
I want you to touch on one thing, Coach K, because your journey in fitness. How much weight did you lose?
Total, I've lost about 50 pounds. Yeah, and that was before.
You wouldn't know. You can't tell when somebody lose. If
Right.
you don't know them, because you think somebody lose 50
Yeah,
pounds.
they don't see the journey. It's the same thing with
Right.
entrepreneurship. Like you don't, people see me and like they're like, oh, but they don't know what my journey is like. Outside the gym and inside the gym. But it definitely has been parallel. I gained weight. I call it. It was physical weight, but it was more from what was going on inside. I was unhappy. I did not know myself. I wasn't taking the time to get to know myself. I didn't have a healthy relationship with food. I was trying to work out a little bit, but I did my little stuff like going to the treadmill and things like that. But it was cycling that really, once I started seeing, like, that's why I asked about the fog. Because I remember being at LA Fitness and like, what are they doing in there? Here I am on the elliptical. I've been on here 45 minutes. I ain't broke a sweat. But everybody coming out the cycle room like drenched.
Right.
And at the time, I just felt so much like energy inside of me. I wanted to get out. And it was something about cycling that was like, that is what it is. And I didn't start with any experience. I didn't start my first class. I had to leave out and go throw up, really, honestly. Like, he kicked my ass. But it was something about it that was like, I want to do that again.
Who was the first teacher? Who?
Dairy.
Really? Okay.
Yes, he kicked my entire ass. And he didn't care that it was my first time. That's not to scare you guys. But yeah, and so from that, I just got, and that's why I tell people it's about a lifestyle. Like, that's why I don't even consider myself a personal trainer. I'm a lifestyle coach. I'm not interested, no shade to people who want to like lose 10 pounds for their birthday or that's not me. I'm about breaking bad habits, creating new ones, and finding out what you love and going for that. And so literally just being consistent, cycling and eating right and learning, not eating perfect, but learning to adapt to new ways of eating in my version of, and it didn't start off easy. I was a flight attendant, so I was used to Popeyes and, we ate.
Popeyes. People
look at flight attendants, you see the heels and we walking down prancing, but it's a very unhealthy situation. You're always drinking, you're always eating, you're eating fast. So all these things that I adapted to, I was smoking cigarettes. I was totally not, and I also dealt with eating disorders, and that's a whole nother subject. But so I had a lot of climbing to do to get out of that hole that I was in. You know what I'm saying? I did. I got out of it.
You got a testimony.
Oh, I do. And so that is where the physical weight started to actually come off, when I did the mental work, when I did the work on the inside. And that's what made it became more about, it wasn't about I want to look this way. I'm trying to impress this person. I want my ex to be jealous. All these things you thinking when you like young, it just, it was about just me, loving on me. And so that's when the weight started to come off and the transformation happened. And so, that's why I do what I do now, is to show people you can do it. And it's not like I've always just, when COVID happened, I gained weight just like everybody else. It wasn't like I just, I gained weight just like everybody else. But that's why it's a lifestyle. Because when life starts lifing, you still got to be able to somehow find that path and stay on it, stay consistent. It might not always be perfect. It might not look like what everybody else think, but it's for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this in the fourth quarter of a cycling class. That's the speech you got.
That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, this is a moment in class.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, because a lot of times when I leave, like when the two of you guys deliver such strong messages, and they hit deep. And when you've gone through the whole week, for me, and this is if I go to a Saturday class, a Sunday class. And when you guys are saying those words, like I'm literally just like digesting it, I'm taking it in, and then I'm ready. It kind of has me fueled, because it's frustrating. It's very frustrating as an entrepreneur, because things don't always go our way.
Oh yeah.
Or when we feel like it's taking too long for this or time and all these things, but we just have to keep going. So, but with no further ado, guys, this is a part of our segment where we ask you guys a really simple question. Okay. So the podcast is called The Hustle and the Grind. So from Mimo Hustle, Khalil, and then Kmil, what does the hustle mean to you?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
The hustle means to me. Wow. I think the hustle is about your personal development. Your personal development. Becoming the best person that you could possibly be. Finding your purpose. And challenging yourself, looking at being able to grow up and mature to the point where that everything that's in your day is designed to develop you. Nothing is designed to bust you down and make you complain or make you feel like you're unworthy. But everything, whether you call him Allah, God, Jehovah, that he uses the tools like challenges, tools like haters, tools like obstacles, tools like a loss of job, loss of finances, you don't know where the resources is coming from, loneliness, whatever it is, those tools are there as an opportunity for you to develop yourself. So the hustle for me is not money, but it's perfecting myself and becoming the best version of myself and just trying to find out where that leads to and elevating. So that's the
Man, that's
hustle.
deep.
That was deep.
Yeah, real deep.
Coach K.
Coach K. How do you go after that?
I know. I would say the hustle to me is definitely finding a way, finding a way when there is no way, creating your own lane, being able to maximize your time and finding out what your purpose is. And also never giving up. Like, to me, the hustle, you cannot be willing to fold. Like you said, we don't know what can happen day to day. And, it's just always some shit that we got to deal with. But what I've been learning is the hustle is being able to face that shit head on and keep it moving, because we ain't got no time to be falling back.
I like that.
Because shit is getting rough.
Stop
You know
trying
what I'm
to
saying?
control things that's out of your control.
Come on.
You can't control it. It
You
already
can't
happened.
control it.
Like, you can't control it. It ain't a you thing. It's something that's happening.
Right.
and
Exactly.
it's out of your control. Why waste your energy?
Even doing that, like, literally, I've been dealing with some stuff business-wise with, like, we got a lot of scammers around here. I got a little scam situation. But either way, I was dealing with that, started to stress out, and then kind of beating myself up as an entrepreneur. Like, how the hell you didn't see that? Like, I was really beating myself up about it. But I could hear my grandma say all the time, and she always say, be still, because God will fight your battles. You don't gotta be around here being stressed out about, entrepreneurship, you learn your way through it. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna hit some walls sometimes. That's just a part of it, but you keep going. So to me, the hustle is find a way and never give up.
Okay. Well, Mo is the Mo Hustle,
Okay.
right? And I'm the grind guy.
Oh gosh.
So she asked,
A whole bunch of hustle
what
in
the
there.
hustle means to you. So I'm gonna start with Mix Coach K on there.
Okay.
Then we're gonna go to Khalil. What does the grind mean to
See
you?
where this is going.
The grind to me means like, willing to do what others aren't.
Ooh.
Working no excuses.
I like
There are no, I don't wake up with excuses. Now, I got tons of them I could pull out my back pocket, but am I gonna allow that to keep me in the bed or to stop from grinding or doing what I know I need to do? So to me, the grind means no excuses. I teach 25 classes a week on my own. That is grind. You know what I'm
That is
saying?
grind.
I don't need nobody to call me and say, get your ass up. I gotta get up. And the grind mean you going for the shit. You know what I'm saying? It's something that is not,
In you.
it's in you. It's literally in your heart. I always say that in class too. I always say in class, it's not your legs. I'm not concerned with your legs moving. I want your heart. If your heart in it, you'll do better in this class than you thinking about your legs. I'm not even concerned about that. I want your heart. And so it's the same
I
with
be telling myself
entrepreneurship.
that too. When you say it, I'm like, okay, it's the heart. It's not the leg.
You got to dig deep. But that's how it is in entrepreneurship. It's your heart. Because people go into it for all different types of things. They like, I'm in it for the money. I'm in it for the likes on Instagram. I'm in it for all this bullshit.
Clout.
It's for the clout.
Yeah.
When really it's not about none of that. You know what I'm saying? It's
won't
about,
last long.
It won't last long. And I'm in it for the long run. I'm in this because my dad always told me that you have a legacy. You have a legacy to uphold, and you got to keep it going. He put that on me from a very young child. So, that's what I'm in it for. That's what the grind is to me. We can add that. Legacy.
Legacy.
Yes, we can add that to the grind.
Let's say legacy.
Yeah, let's have some
Throw that
purpose
in
in this. Let's have some
Ooh.
purpose in this. So,
Hey.
yeah, that's my definition of
Okay,
the grind.
okay.
Dope.
Well, Khalil, I don't know how you gonna follow up behind that.
I had to follow his ass last time.
That's why I switched it up for real. I wanted to switch it up.
That was good.
I switched it up.
The grind is like what I'm gonna camelback off my sis.
Okay.
The ability, the willingness to do what no one else is willing to do. That's the grind. I talk about in class all the time. What is the difference? We'll use Beyonce. What's the difference between her? What's the difference between Jay-Z and you and so many people that we look up to? It's not that you've been deprived of feet and hands and a brain and a heart. The difference is mindset. That's the only difference between us all. You know what I mean? No matter if you're short, tall, skinny, fat. I seen people with one arm, no arms, you know, prove to all of us that they can do amazing things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what's the difference?
Absolutely.
What is the difference? And the difference is our mindset, the willingness, the will is the grind. So the will to get up when you don't feel like getting up.
Come on.
The will.
Man, John, I'm gonna tell you. Oh, I'm
Hey,
sorry.
y'all blowing us away on this one.
Nah,
Man.
you know it's crazy. The last few episodes, this question, the answers have just gotten deeper and deeper
Yeah,
and deeper
they
into
just
that.
keep-
And the question seems so simple to us, you know, but I'm blown away. But I'm gonna tell y'all one thing: if you guys come to Cycle Gang, the way that they just politely relate these messages, it's the total opposite.
Oh
Like,
gosh.
don't nobody want to hear that shit. Get up off your ass, get out the bed, and get going. What you think God wants you to do?
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
The gazelle and the lion story.
yeah. Go ahead. So, if you guys don't mind, you want to leave us with one of your messages because we appreciate you guys definitely here as
right
the
at-
guests. But
yeah.
I want you guys to literally like give the people, and y'all can piggyback off each other. This could be
Yeah,
a
we do that
duo.
good.
Look right into that camera
Right
right
in
there.
the middle camera.
That one in the middle. Okay.
Yes.
Ladies first.
Oh, God. Well, I will finish with this. I always in class, well, I'll finish with what I was saying earlier about your heart. You know, whatever it is that you do, put your heart into it, you know, and definitely know your purpose behind it. And if you don't feel fulfilled in what you're doing, I want to encourage you to continue to uncover those things and find your passion, because that's what's going to keep you consistent. That's what's going to keep you, you know, we only get one life to live. And so another thing I always say in class is maximize your time. You know, all we know for right now is we have today. So while we got today, maximize your time. You know, don't waste it. Do what works for you and just continue to love on yourself.
I will camelback off that and say, stay out the comfort zone.
Oh, yes. Come
Stay
on.
out
yeah.
the comfort zone. The comfort zone is your enemy. You know, if you're feeling too comfortable, if you're running away from responsibility, then you're running away from your opportunity to grow. Everything that is a challenge is an opportunity for you to become and to just manifest who you are, and that's how you got to look at it. There's no other way to look at challenges. Wherever you're at in life is where you're supposed to be. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Stay focused. Identify what your why is. Identify what your goals are. Don't let anybody else's goals or achievements distract you. Celebrate people. Don't hate on nobody. What's theirs is theirs, and what's yours is yours.
Yeah. And do your best. Okay. We don't do mediocre at Cycle Gang. Okay. we don't do since Mo I've already said that's how we talk. We don't do little shit. Okay.
That's what I want. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't
Y'all
do
coming
little
with
shit.
all the nice. I want the real.
Yeah.
I want them to get
This
an
the
idea
real.
of what are they gonna get.
Okay, I'll talk it Coach
Thank
K
you,
voice.
Coach K. Come on now.
I'll
Coach
talk
K,
it
let's go,
Coach K.
Coach
Give it to
Coach
him.
K
Give it
voice.
to him.
We don't do little shit here at Cycle Gang.
Yeah.
Not only do we not do little shit at Cycle Gang, we don't do little shit in our lives, period, okay? I don't believe in mediocre shit. Ain't that right, Coach?
That's right, Coach.
There we go.
We don't believe in mediocre shit. We want to do big shit. Everybody say big shit.
Big shit.
There we go. We only want to do big shit, and that requires
shit.
big heart. All right, so if you about that life, you at the right crew. If
go.
you looking for something else,
Come
you
on.
in the wrong class.
That's right.
That's
Period.
my gang. That's my gang.
That's right.
Hey.
That's right.
Period.
So look in the camera again. Tell them where they can find you guys on social media.
You can find, well, my personal page is at Kmil for real. That's KMIL, the number 4 REAL. I am Fly Girl Fitness ATL on social media, and also flygirlfitnessatl.com. And
You can find us on Instagram at Cycle Gang, on Facebook at Cycle Gang, on Twitter and TikTok at Cycle Gang. You can also schedule a class at www.thecyclegang.com.
Or if you have the Mind and Body app, you can also book your classes through there.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yep.
Hey, you guys, thank you again for tuning into another episode of the Hustle and Grind podcast. This was another dope episode, and stay tuned for more.
We out. Stay put. We gotta take pictures.
Yeah,
Okay.
take a picture now.